AI is creating this really strange new reality. It's a world where huge, massive success can actually, paradoxically, lead straight to catastrophic failure. We're seeing the first real signs of this pop up in software development, but trust me, this is just a preview of what's coming for pretty much all knowledge work.
So let me ask you this. What would you do if the product you built was suddenly more popular than ever, exploding in use, but at the exact same time your revenue just collapses? This isn't some business school thought experiment. This is happening right now to some of the most important tools on the internet.
Right, so this is what we're calling the success paradox, and there's no better way to understand it than by looking at the wild story of a tool called Tailwind CSS.
Okay, so for anyone who's not deep in the web dev world, here's the quick rundown. Tailwind CSS is basically this amazing, free, open-source tool that lets developers build websites way faster. It's become this beloved, absolutely essential part of the modern web. Everyone uses it, from solo developers to massive tech companies. It's a real poster child for open-source success.
And when I say success, I mean, look at this number. 75 million downloads a month. That is just off the charts. And a huge part of that growth, ironically, is coming from AI coding agents. They love this tool because it's just so good for building web interfaces.
Okay, but here's where the paradox really hits you. While its popularity is just skyrocketing, the actual business behind Tailwind has been, it's been devastated. Revenue has crashed by nearly 80%, and because of that, they've had to lay off 75% of their engineering team. How is that even possible, right? It just doesn't make sense, but it's happening.
So the whole problem is baked into their business model. Here's how it's supposed to work. A developer is using the free tool, they run into a problem, so they visit the official documentation website for help. While they're there, they see and buy the company's paid products. Simple enough. But now AI coding assistants just jump the line. They use the free framework for sure, but they give the developer the answer directly. They completely bypass the website, which means they bypass the only way the company makes money. So the AI is the product's biggest fan, and it's also the thing that's killing the business.
And this quote from Santiago just nails the bigger thread here. This isn't just about one company's bad luck. Think about it. If the very tools that these powerful AIs rely on can't stay in business, what happens then? We could end up with this massive graveyard of abandoned, unsupported projects. The whole open source world is at risk.
So this leads us to something bigger, a pattern that's starting to emerge. We're calling it the Great Information Bypass. And believe me, Tailwind's story is not some isolated incident.
Let's talk about the other canary in the coal mine, Stack Overflow. For over a decade, this was the place developers went for help, a cornerstone of the internet. And just like Tailwind, its entire business model was built on getting eyeballs directly on its website. And just like Tailwind, it has been absolutely hammered by this AI bypass.
The collapse has just been breathtaking to watch. Look at this. After peaking at 300,000 queries a month, traffic has fallen off a cliff. It's basically back to where it was when it first launched in 2008. And the reason is simple, right? Why would a developer dig through old forum posts when an AI can just take all that knowledge, synthesize it, and give you a perfect answer in seconds? The core reason for the platform to exist has been pretty much wiped.
But there is another way to look at this. Maybe AI isn't the villain here. Maybe it's just the catalyst. The thing that finally exposed these incredibly fragile business models. These were companies built on information that was easy to scrape, and they relied on people stopping by their website. They never really had what you'd call a moat, that deep defensive advantage that protects a business. And AI was just the tidal wave that finally crashed over their weak walls.
Okay, so this whole disruption, it goes way beyond just business models. It's fundamentally changing the actual job of being a developer. And that brings us to what we can call the rise of intent.
Yeah, in this new world, the developer is becoming less of a hands-on coder and more of a intent architect. Think about that. Their main job isn't writing thousands of lines of code anymore. Instead, it's about defining the big picture. Clearly and precisely telling an AI system, here is the goal, here are the rules, and this is what success looks like. And then the AI goes and builds it.
So you can see the whole skill set is shifting, right? It's becoming less about memorizing perfect syntax and a lot more about high-level strategy, governance, and clear communication. The really valuable work is now about articulating goals in plain language, setting up the guardrails for the system, making sure the AI's output is actually good, and aligning the whole thing with business and ethical goals.
In a way, the developer's new job is to be a curator of clarity for the AI. And we really can't overstate how big this is. This isn't just a small step up in productivity. This is a massive, historic shift. As one analyst, Kareem Fanous, puts it, we're at the dawn of a completely new era. This is a change as fundamental as the invention of the internet. Just let that sink in for a second.
So what does this new era of work actually look like? Well, it's all about governing the machine.
What we're heading towards is this kind of self-regulating ecosystem. Picture this. One AI agent is busy writing the code. At the same time, another team of AI agents is auditing it, testing it, and even actively trying to hack it to find any weaknesses. So where's the human in all this? They've moved out of the trenches and into a supervisory role, basically governing the entire system from above.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Does this mean we lose the creative joy, that craft of writing beautiful code? And that's a fair question. But maybe the creativity isn't disappearing. It's just moving upstream. The real creative act isn't about crafting the perfect line of code anymore. It's about having the vision to imagine a whole new system and the skill to describe the problem so clearly that an AI can bring it to life.
And this really gets to the core philosophical shift here. Humans are no longer the authors of software in the traditional sense, wrestling with the machine line by line. We're becoming the governors of these powerful software-producing systems. The analogy that comes to mind is that we're becoming shepherds, not builders. We guide, we direct, but we don't lay every single brick.
And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. The next era of work, whether it's building software or drafting legal contracts or designing a building, it's not going to be about writing out detailed instructions. It's going to be about mastering the art of defining intent. The value is shifting away from the how and moving squarely to the what and the why. And that simple change is about to redefine knowledge work as we know it.